Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
It was hard for me to embrace and accept the fact that Devin Hester might actually be a team's #1 receiver, and maybe even for 2 years in a row. As last year, 2 years ago, I should say, he had 50 receptions. It seemed like, yeah, he was the team's #1. Well, it seemed like he was again last year, and heck, he had 57 receptions. There were times early in the season where, he wasn't that bad. 57 receptions, he had 757 yards and 3 touchdowns. A lot of that was before the final month of the season. He got injured and he really wasn't even around. He came back for the final game, week 17, but there was about a month there that he missed and wasn't even a part of the team or anything like that. So in the time that he spent there, he had production. Shoot, he probably would have made close to 1,000 yards if he would have stayed with the team throughout the full season, and maybe four or 5 touchdowns through the whole year. Who knows? But it's really not enough touchdowns. That's what I've thought about Devin from the past, is with his size and everything. I don't think he's more. I think if he is anything, he's more of a type of possession guy to a certain degree with some yardage than he is going to be a touchdown guy. You look at somebody like maybe a Devon Best. He kind of reminds me of that kind of receiver, as opposed to somebody that's a really strong fantasy option. It looks like he is in stone to be one of the Bears' starting receivers this year. I know there was talk, that, especially from Devin even himself, that he wanted to get back to more of the return game. He thought that he could help the team out in that way a lot more. And so it looked like with Mike Martz's offense, he was primed to maybe be the slot receiver and then focus in special teams. Well, that's not so much the case. It looks like he is a definite go for the starting lineup. And the secondary starter is probably going to be a battle between Johnny Knox and Devin Aromashodu. Earl Bennett is on the back burner. He's just not relevant at this time. He will be their #4 guy. Had knee surgery this offseason. So with Devin, he's going to have fantasy value. I wouldn't, obviously don't get this guy as a guy that should be a starter on your team. I would look for him more as a guy just for depth on your team. Again, I don't think he's going to be a guy that's ever really that strong for touchdowns. Maybe 1 year out of his career, he'll have one of those years where he's just breaking off the longer touchdowns. But other than that, he's not a true touchdown type of guy. So in yardage and catch leagues, he should have more value for you in those type of areas, as he can go through games where he racks up 6 to 8 balls in a game. So keep those things in mind with Hester. I do expect the Bears to throw the ball quite a bit with Mike Martz there, but we just need to see Hester have more production before we can really say that he's inside the maybe top 35 receivers to go out and have in fantasy football.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy